What if humans could control time? Imagine this. Some scientists created a machine that allows them to manipulate time. They formed a secret agency to save people from dying due to time travel, but they charged a lot of money for their services. They would send these people to parallel universes where they could survive. But is it really that easy to control time? The story begins with a girl who is waiting for an elevator, admiring her new engagement ring. The ring slips from her hand and falls under the elevator. An employee goes down to help her retrieve it. They find the ring, but before they can get out, the elevator cable snaps and it crashes down on them, killing them both. The story then flashes back to 33 days earlier. As soon as the girl dies, a secret lab detects her death. They already know she will die in an elevator accident in 33 days. The secret agency calls one of its agents, Connor, and tells him he has to save their client. Connor lives with his wife, Haley, and both are agents for the secret agency, saving people's lives by traveling through time. The agency already knows when and how the girl will die. So Connor quickly uses the time machine to travel to the moment just before the elevator falls. This time, he manages to pull the girl out before the elevator crashes, saving her life. However, the same employee who helped her is killed. The girl realizes that Connor is an agent from the secret agency with whom she had taken out insurance for a lot of money. She asks Connor why he didn't save the other man. Connor tells her that the man was not their client and they don't interfere in any other incidents. How does this agency work? Let's dive in. A woman named Miranda is watching an advertisement featuring Dwayne Johnson. In the ad, he explains how the agency, called Lifeline, has discovered time travel and can now postpone people's deaths in exchange for money. However, this agency operates secretly, and only a select few know about it. Miranda is contemplating whether she should pay for this service when Jasmine, a new agent of Lifeline, approaches her. Jasmine explains that they implant a tracker in their client's hands, allowing the agency to monitor them. If a client is destined to die in an accident, the agency receives an alert 33 days in advance. They then use time travel to save the client from dying in that accident. Convinced, Miranda decides to get the chip implanted. Afterward, Nathan, the owner of Lifeline, calls Jasmine to his office. He explains how he established the entire secret agency. In exchange for a significant amount of money, they prevent people's deaths through time travel. Nathan emphasizes to Jasmine the importance of keeping their time travel abilities a secret from the general public. Nathan further explains that the device implanted in the clients sends information 33 days into the past about when and how they are going to die. The agency then sends one of their agents 33 days into the future to the exact place where the client is destined to die. For this, they use a special time jump machine created by a scientist named Jay. However, this machine only allows travel to the future and not back to the past. Therefore, any agent who goes 33 days into the future to save a client cannot return to the present. They must remain in that future time. Jasmine, surprised, asks Nathan why they need to go to the future if they already know someone will die in 33 days. She suggests they could simply lock the person in a safe bunker for a month to prevent the death. Nathan explains that this approach wouldn't work because every death is a fixed point in the universe. If a person is destined to die at a certain moment, they will die no matter what. Nathan reveals that they found a way to circumvent this inevitability through time travel. By changing the events just before someone's death, they can split the timeline into two. In the original universe, the person will still die, but in the new parallel universe created by altering those moments, the person will survive. This means a new parallel universe is created where the person does not die. However, the agent who travels to the future cannot return to the present because they are now in this parallel universe. Nathan continues to explain that he has invested a lot of money and time into this project, finally succeeding in creating a time machine. To keep this breakthrough a secret, they only offer their services to wealthy individuals who can pay a significant amount for their lives to be saved. Meanwhile, Connor, an agent of the Lifeline agency, meets up with his wife Haley. Both of them work for the same agency, so they are often apart. When they get a new assignment, they have to travel 33 days into the future, which means they don't see each other for months at a time. Despite this, they love each other deeply and enjoy their jobs, so their marriage is strong. However, Connor and Haley have different perspectives on their work. Connor strictly follows the agency's rules and only saves his clients. For example, at the beginning of the story, he saved the girl who had insurance but let the other man die because he didn't have insurance. Haley, on the other hand, believes in saving everyone she can. Once she time traveled to save her client from a car accident, but also saved another man involved in the crash. Connor thinks they should only focus on their clients, while Haley believes in helping more people. One morning, Haley is called to the agency because a new client's life is in danger. After she leaves, her old partner, a detective, comes to visit her. Haley used to work as a police officer before joining Lifeline. Her old partner tells her he misses her and asks why she left without saying anything. Haley can't reveal that she works for a time-traveling agency, so she changes the subject and turns down his job offer. After some time, Haley receives a message to save a client named Booth. She travels to the future and finds herself in a parking lot. There, she sees Booth being held at gunpoint by two people who are about to shoot him. Without hesitation, Haley runs to save him. Meanwhile, back at the Lifeline agency, Jasmine notices something shocking on her screen. Haley's tracker shows an alarming alert. Haley, while trying to save Booth 33 days in the future, is about to be killed. This news leaves Jasmine stunned. The agency acts quickly, sending other agents to the future to save both Haley and Booth. They know they only have one chance to change the events and save them. If they fail, Haley will be permanently killed. At the same time, Connor has just saved his own client from dying when he receives a call from an unknown number. The caller asks Connor if he believes in free will and whether humans should interfere with time. Connor, confused, asks why the caller is contacting him. The mysterious man then reveals that Connor's wife, Haley, who is on a mission, will be killed in 20 minutes. He explains that although the Lifeline agency has sent other agents to save her, they will fail. The caller urges Connor to save his wife if he can. Stunned and panicked, Connor realizes the gravity of the situation. Without wasting any time, he starts running as fast as he can to save Haley. Meanwhile, in the parking lot where Haley had gone to save her client, several bystanders were present, including a little girl named Nora who had come to see her father, the parking lot guard. As Haley pointed her gun and ordered the two attackers to leave his client, Connor arrived and shouted at Haley to leave, insisting he would handle the situation. Confused, Haley hesitated. Suddenly, gunfire erupted. Haley was hit by a bullet and killed on the spot. Enraged, Connor started firing back at the attackers. In the chaos, the guard, Nora's father, was also shot and killed. Little Nora, witnessing her father's death, began to cry. Connor felt a deep sense of guilt. Not only had he failed to save Haley, but Nora's father had also died because of him. At this point, Nathan and other Lifeline agents arrived through time travel. Nathan ordered his team to quickly erase all evidence from the scene. They also erased Nora's memory to ensure she couldn't tell anyone what she had witnessed. Finally, they made Connor unconscious too and took him away, leaving the area as if nothing had happened. After waking up, Connor rushes to Nathan and demands to know why he allowed Haley's killers to escape, making it impossible to save her now. Nathan angrily explains that risking the agency's secrecy for one person is out of the question. If their time travel capabilities were exposed, it would mean the end of Lifeline agency. Nathan coldly adds that Haley is gone and Connor needs to move on. However, Connor remains determined to find Haley's murderers. Frustrated and fixated on justice for Haley, Connor's persistence prompts Nathan to fire him from Lifeline agency to prevent any misuse of their technology. Meanwhile, Blake, Haley's killer, hastily leaves town with his girlfriend and the money he stole, aware that someone will come after him. Connor tirelessly follows clues to track down Blake, but he's always one step behind. As Connor continues his pursuit, he reflects on the mysterious caller who warned him about Haley's impending death. He wonders how this person knew the future and resolves to find answers. Before searching for the caller, Connor visits the hospital to see Nora, whose father died in the crossfire. To his surprise, Nora reveals that her memories of the incident were erased by Lifeline agency. Determined to uncover the truth and seek justice for both Haley and Nora's father, Connor sets out to find the mysterious caller who seems to hold crucial information about Haley's death and the secrets of Lifeline agency. After a few days, Jay visits Connor's house for Haley's funeral. Connor shares his grief, acknowledging that Haley is gone and expressing remorse for the death of Nora's father, which he feels responsible for. He requests Jay, Lifeline's main researcher, to steal a tracker from the agency and give it to him. Connor intends to install it in Nora to ensure her safety. Knowing his position within Lifeline, Jay hesitates initially, but eventually agrees out of friendship with Connor. Connor approaches Nathan and apologizes, assuring him that he has moved past Haley's death and won't make any mistakes. He humbly asks for Nora's job back, and Nathan, recognizing Connor's skills and dedication, agrees to reinstate him as one of their top agents. Meanwhile, Nora has been adopted by a family, but they mistreat her severely. They neglect her, withhold food, and confine her to her room. Concerned for Nora's well-being, Connor visits her home when she's alone to check on her. He installs the lifeline tracker he obtained, explaining to Nora that her late father had ordered it for her safety. He assures her that it will protect her. Once the tracker is in place, Jay secretly retrieves Nora's details, promising to keep it confidential. Before leaving, Connor erases Nora's memories again, ensuring she doesn't remember his visit or the installation of the tracker. His intention is for Nora to live without fear or worry, safeguarded by the lifeline technology. 6 years slowly passed for Connor, during which he remained haunted by guilt over his inability to save Haley. Though 6 years had elapsed in the outside world, Connor's repeated travels into the future meant only 2 or 3 years had passed for him. Despite the passage of time, his remorse remained deep-seated. Meanwhile, Nora had grown into her teenage years, enduring continued mistreatment from her step-parents. Fed up after 6 years of suffocating conditions, Nora finally ran away from home. Alone and searching for a place to stay, she met a man named Tom who offered her temporary shelter. Jay received a notification that Nora was destined to die in an accident 33 days from now. Connor swiftly received this news and went to Nora's home, but she had already left. Using the tracker's location, Connor traveled 33 days into the future, determined to save Nora from her impending death. On the other hand, Haley's murderer, Blake, had changed his name and started a new life. Over the 6 years since Haley's death, Blake had transformed, leaving his criminal past behind. However, his new identity lacked authorization, prompting him to seek help from a friend who could provide him with a legitimate ID in exchange for a substantial sum of money. On the other hand, Nora found herself living with Tom, unsure of her next steps in life after leaving her previous home. Struggling with the trauma of losing her father and now fleeing her step-parents, Nora spiraled into despair. One night, overwhelmed and intoxicated, she climbed to the top of a building, unaware that Jay had received a notification predicting her imminent death from a fall. Fortunately, the tracker installed by Connor alerted him in time. He arrived before Nora could fall and saved her life. Connor comforted Nora, who was bewildered by how he knew her name. Connor decided to confide in her, explaining the truth about Lifeline Agency and the necessity of erasing her memories to protect her from their scrutiny. Reluctantly, Connor erased Nora's memories once more. Days later, Nora received a mysterious package containing a phone with a message questioning if she remembered her memories being erased. Curious and troubled, Nora called the number provided and discovered it belonged to a man named Jack. Jack revealed that he possessed all of Nora's memories and invited her to meet him at a specified address. Accompanied by her friend, Nora met Jack at the given location, where they encountered an agent who had just arrived through time travel and quickly fled. Jack explained that they were at a secret agency equipped with a time travel machine. He proposed that Nora join forces with him to oppose this agency. Intrigued and feeling a sense of purpose, Nora agreed to Jack's proposal. At Lifeline Agency, Jay excitedly shared a new breakthrough in time travel with Nathan. He had discovered a formula that could potentially allow them to travel into the past and save individuals they couldn't rescue before. However, Nathan, worried about the implications for his substantial investment in their current technology, firmly rejected Jay's proposal. He not only refused to support further development of the formula, but also revoked Jay's access to the agency's main research lab to prevent him from pursuing the idea. Meanwhile, Nora received another call from Jack, who warned her of an approaching time-traveling agent whose mission was to seize him. Acting swiftly, Nora rushed to intercept the agent, but the agent's skills were formidable. Despite Nora's efforts, she was overpowered and hit her before escaped. In another part of the story, Jasmine, who had long harbored feelings for Connor, finally proposed to him after years had passed. Connor accepted, and they began living together. However, Jasmine soon discovered that Connor remained fixated on finding Haley's murderer, Blake. Despite their new life together, Connor's unresolved quest weighed heavily on their relationship. The next day, Connor came across a photo of Blake and began asking around if anyone had seen him. Word got back to Blake, who, now with a family of his own, decided to confront Connor to resolve the lingering conflict. Blake hoped to settle the matter once and for all, aware that Connor's pursuit could jeopardize his newfound stability. As Connor sat in a restaurant, Blake unexpectedly appeared and began apologizing, explaining that he had unintentionally fired the shot that killed Haley while trying to protect his boss during a firefight. Blake claimed he had since left that life behind to focus on his family. He pleaded with Connor to forgive him and move on from Haley's death. However, consumed by years of searching for answers, Connor erupted in anger and attacked Blake. A heated fight ensued, ending with Blake managing to escape, sparing his life. Meanwhile, Tom was furious with Nora for getting involved with time travelers. His anger simmered until Jack contacted him again, offering a chance to redeem Nora's mistake. Jack promised Tom $10,000 if Nora could successfully stop a new agent. Driven by the prospect of money, Tom reluctantly agreed to support Nora in her mission. Back with Blake, he felt distraught and burdened by his past actions, despite his attempts to start anew for the sake of his family. His wife urged him to confront Connor and resolve the conflict once and for all. Feeling desperate, Blake went to Connor's house, armed with a gun, and called him, explaining he planned to leave the country with his family and wanted no more trouble. Connor, still furious, vowed to pursue Blake relentlessly. In a tense moment, Blake gave Connor an ultimatum. Either Connor let him go peacefully, or Blake would shoot him then and there. Realizing Blake was serious and seeing his family's safety at stake, Connor reluctantly agreed to a false promise, swearing he would no longer pursue Blake. On the other hand, at Lifeline headquarters, Nathan's refusal to support Jay's efforts in building a time machine led Jay to continue his work in secret at his own home. After weeks of relentless effort, Jay successfully created a prototype capable of not only transporting individuals to the future, but also allowing travel to any point in the past. However, he discovered that the machine required immense energy to function properly. Meanwhile, Nora and her friends received intel on the next time-traveling agent's location and immediately set out to intercept him. Arriving at the scene, they found the agent in the midst of trying to save his client. Nora and her group confronted the agent, leading to a fierce battle. Despite their best efforts, the agent managed to overcome them, resulting in the tragic death of his client due to the time constraints. Nora and her friends returned home to find their reward and a note affirming the completion of their mission. While the others celebrated, Nora was deeply troubled by the fact that they had allowed someone else to die, knowing the agent had only sought to save a life. Back at Lifeline Agency, Nathan and Jasmine were deeply concerned about the mysterious interference jeopardizing their operations. They suspected an insider was leaking information or sabotaging their missions. Nathan ordered a thorough investigation to uncover the identity of the culprit responsible for hindering their agent's efforts. They interrogated the injured agent, who described Nora's appearance. After a thorough investigation, Nathan discovered that Jack, a former agent of Lifeline, was behind the disruptions in their operations. Jack had hacked into Lifeline's system to gain access to information about their agent's missions and used this knowledge to manipulate Nora and her companions into interfering with Lifeline's efforts. Determined to stop Jack, Nathan devised a plan to confront and neutralize him. Meanwhile, after many days, Nora finally received a call from Jack, agreeing to meet her in person. She hurried to their meeting place and was shocked to find Jack in a wheelchair, dependent on an oxygen tank for survival. Jack began to explain to Nora the truth about Lifeline, a secretive agency that alters the natural course of events by saving people's lives through time travel. Each intervention creates a new parallel universe, because in the original timeline, those individuals were destined to die. Jack revealed that he had once been part of Lifeline, but had come to realize the moral implications of their actions. He believed that altering fate disrupted the natural order and potentially caused harm to the universe itself. His mission to thwart Lifeline's operations stemmed from his conviction that events should unfold as nature intended, without human interference. Nora questioned the morality of Lifeline's actions, arguing that saving lives seemed inherently good. However, Jack pointed out that Lifeline's motives were driven by profit rather than altruism. He recounted the incident involving Nora's father, explaining how his death was a consequence of Lifeline's intervention to protect a paying client. This tragedy had devastated Nora's life. After Jack revealed the truth about Lifeline and Connor's involvement with the chip in Nora, Nora was shaken to the core. Jack, sensing Nathan's imminent arrival, hid Nora and implored her to eavesdrop on their conversation for her own understanding. Nathan burst in, furious at Jack's actions, and in a fit of rage cut off Jack's oxygen supply, ending his life tragically. Witnessing this, Nora became convinced of the moral dubiousness of Lifeline's actions. Distraught and determined to uncover the full truth, Nora decided to confront Connor about her father's death, clutching the Lifeline chip as evidence. Meanwhile, Jay delivered long-awaited news to Connor at his home: the successful completion of a functional time machine capable of traveling not just to the future, future, but also to the past. Connor, hopeful that this breakthrough could help him undo Haley's death, urged Jay to finalize the machine's development, promising gratitude that would never be forgotten. Back at Lifeline headquarters, Jasmine's curiosity was piqued by Jay's late arrival and his recent activities outside of work. Nervous and fearing exposure, Jay evaded her questions, worried that Jasmine might suspect his deeper involvement with Connor in the agency's secrets. Jasmine managed to sneak into Jay's house after stealing his key. There, she uncovered his secret project, a hidden time machine that Jay had been working on without Nathan's knowledge. This discovery left Jasmine torn because she knew if Jay successfully used the time machine to save Connor's wife, it could mean losing Connor, whom she deeply loved. Meanwhile, Nora had set a trap to capture Connor. Armed with a gun and handcuffs, she planned to confront him about Lifeline's role in her father's death and the erasure of her memories. Her intention was to apprehend Connor and then take her own life as part of her scheme. However, just as she was about to carry out her plan, Connor arrived and saved her from a dangerous situation, thwarting her initial intentions. With Connor now in her custody, Nora confronted him at gunpoint, demanding the truth about Lifeline's actions. Reluctantly, Connor confessed to their involvement in her father's death and the manipulation of her memories. Fueled by anger and seeking justice for her family, Nora took Connor to an abandoned building where she restrained him and disabled his Lifeline chip. In a determined tone, she vowed to fulfill Jack's unfinished mission, to dismantle Lifeline by eliminating Connor and Nathan. Nora was resolute as she carried out her plan, tragically ending Connor's life in the main universe. As soon as Lifeline received the signal of Connor's death in one timeline, they swiftly dispatched another agent to intervene. This agent, arriving just in time, managed to prevent Nora from fatally shooting Connor. Instead, the agent took down Nora before she could carry out her plan, ensuring Connor's safety. Subsequently, they brought Connor back to Nathan, who, in a fit of rage, ordered the removal of Connor's tracker to prevent any future rescue attempts if he were to face danger again. Nathan assigned Jasmine, who still harbored feelings for Connor, to oversee this task. However, Jasmine, torn between her loyalty to Lifeline and her feelings for Connor, decided to help him. She freed Connor from the agent's custody, and he escaped from the agency. Seeking refuge and guidance, Connor rushed to his friend Jay's house and revealed the recent events, including Nora's tragic death. In desperation, Connor implored Jay to use the time machine to save Nora somehow. Jay explained that the time machine could only be used once. Connor faced an agonizing choice: travel back 7 years to save his beloved wife Haley, whom he had yearned for over the past 7 years, or go back 7 hours to save Nora, whose life had been shattered due to his involvement with Lifeline. After much deliberation, Connor decided to use his only chance to save Nora. He justified his decision by believing that Haley, if alive, would have made the same choice, as she always cared deeply for others' well-being. After Connor makes his decision to travel back 7 hours in time, he confronts Nora just before she can shoot him. Present Connor explains to Nora that he's come from the future to prevent her from making a grave mistake that will haunt her. He shares his own journey of forgiveness and realization, urging Nora to let go of her anger and move forward. Nora, moved by Connor's plea and seeing the resolve in his eyes, decides to step back. Meanwhile, future Connor, realizing the potential of Jay's time machine, understands that although it can only be used once to travel forward, traveling earlier allows for a new opportunity. Returning to Jay's machine after saving Nora, Connor plans to go back 7 years in time. This time, he aims to prevent not only his wife Haley's death, but also Nora's father's demise, altering their fates and setting a new course for everyone involved. With this thrilling twist, the story concludes on a hopeful note, highlighting themes of redemption, forgiveness, and the complexities of altering fate through time travel. Each character's journey, filled with twists and turns, reaches a satisfying resolution as they grapple with their past and future choices. With this, the exciting series comes to an end. Thanks for tuning, guys.